Good evening. Welcome to the State of Business on our television with me, Tirantha Gunwardana. Let's take a look at today's headlines first. New multimodal transport hub in Kottava declared open by President. Colombo Stock Exchange signs MOU with Dhaka counterpart to promote capital raising in both countries. And now the stories in detail. The Kottava-Makubra multimodal transport hub was declared open by President Maithripala Sirisena yesterday. The multimodal transport hub, built under the guidance of the Ministry of Megapolis and Western Development, will provide the public the opportunity to be able to access bus, train and taxi services from one place. It will also provide passengers travelling via the expressway buses the ability to access train or city bus services without having to travel to another location to access the services. The multimodal transport centre uses LED panels that provide real-time information on the location of buses and trains to keep patrons appraised, in addition to self-ticketing facilities, restaurants and sanitary facilities, banking facilities and bill payment centres. Solar panels have been utilised to provide the energy requirements to the transport hub. Addressing the gathering during the opening ceremony, President Sirisena stated that the country needs to take steps to strengthen public transport by utilizing modern technology. Elaborating further, the President stated that this is but one step in the journey to strengthening public service. Venerable Dr. Ittapani Lanka Mahatera, ministers and MPs including Minister Partli Champika Ranawaka were present on this occasion. The Colombo Stock Exchange and the Dhaka Stock Exchange jointly announced the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding to formalize collaborative efforts directed at mutual development. The MOU will pave the way for a greater level of information exchange between the two stock exchanges and will focus on product development, capacity building and the joint promotion of capital raising efforts both in Bangladesh and Sri Lanka. The MOU is also set to contribute towards enhancing economic and business relations between Sri Lanka and Bangladesh and further enhance efforts towards capital market integration in the South Asian region. The Dhaka Stock Exchange Limited, founded in 1954, is the leading exchange of Bangladesh with over 95% of total market turnover. Since its inception, the DSC has been contributing to the country's industrialization, development of infrastructure and overall economic growth. The Colombo Stock Exchange operates the only stock market in Sri Lanka and is responsible for providing a transparent and regulated environment where companies and investors can come together. The CSE is a company that is limited by guarantee established under the laws of Sri Lanka. The CSE is licensed by the Securities Exchange Commission of Sri Lanka and is a mutual exchange consisting of 15 members and 14 trading members. In more news, delivering a special address at the program on sustainable reporting, sustainable development carried out by the Colombo Stock Exchange, Chief Economist of the Ceylon Chamber of Commerce, Sriran Fernando, expressed the following on Sri Lanka's imports and exports.
Why some of these, and I kept talking a lot on the export programs, is necessary. Sri Lanka has gone from a country which has had its merchandise exports as a percentage of GDP above 33% in the early 2000s to under 15%, close to 13% by 2017. And in that period, if you look at it purely in terms of absolute perspective, we've seen merchandise exports doubling, whereas imports have actually increased almost 3 times. So in that period, we've seen the trade deficit just expanding, becoming a more domestic consumption economy, and that has not been sustainable. And that's why we often have to see adjustments either through interest rates or through the currency, which we've seen over the last few years.
Sriran Fernando also spoke about the inflation in Sri Lanka and how it may change with new policies being introduced.
If you look at it from an inflation perspective, Sri Lanka has been able to contain inflation under single digits for over a decade now. And especially in recent times, we've seen inflation coming even under mid-single digit level. But right now you're seeing the early signs of a divergence between core inflation and headline inflation. Core, which strips away some of the more volatile items, gives a good understanding in terms of the underlying inflation level, and that seems to be showing a slight divergence right now. As the year goes on, with the weather-related impacts coming through, with now you having a full pricing formula, it'll be interesting to see whether headline inflation will pick up if some of these price adjustments take place. And the currency, which is paramount importance for a lot of the companies here present today as well.
It's time for a short commercial break. Do stay tuned for more news after this. Welcome back. Speaking exclusively to our television, Senior Vice President of Golf Ace Hotel, Chandra Mohorty, states that the biggest challenge faced by the local hospitality trade is the lack of soft skills in the workforce.
Our standards are not bad. Technically, our standards are very good. In hospitality training, there are three areas which is vital. One is technical, one is administrative, and one is soft skills. Where we lack not a little, quite a lot, is the soft skills area. A predominant feature for that has been the lack of English. Now, with the war, with the previous policy decisions, we neglected English. Now that English is everything, but we neglected all other languages other than Sinhalese and Tamil. But now with the influx of these tourists, we need to know some other languages. Example, if you're going to market yourself to the Chinese and you don't know how to speak Chinese, I'm sorry, English even won't be enough. But that confidence, for instance, a waiter explaining a menu, comes with the confidence he receives with the knowledge of English.
Chandra Mohoti also made the following statement on Sri Lankan expats working abroad in the hospitality industry.
These Sri Lankan expatriates abroad get training in different cultures, in different disciplines, in different locations, which is a major plus point in the hospitality business. So I don't think we lose much because most of them come back home better trained. I'm talking of the hospitality industry expatriates. Yeah. When they return, it's an asset to the country. Because most hospitality employees will go back to hospitality when they return. So their exposure, their training, their working with different nationalities is a gain for the country. While they themselves have gained more foreign exchange.
Under the Enterprise Sri Lanka subsidized loan scheme designed to create entrepreneurs and boost domestic private investment, the government has so far disbursed loans worth 79 billion rupees amongst 46,673 recipients. Enterprise Sri Lanka was initiated on June 21, 2018, and the program expects to create 100,000 new entrepreneurs by the year 2020. A majority of the loans obtained so far have been issued under the Sonduru Piyasa Housing Loan Scheme, with 20,286 having obtained the loan. The Ran Aswanna and the Govi Navoda schemes introduced for farmers have also been in high demand, with 17,484 and 3,337 being issued under those schemes respectively. In 2018, nearly 39,000 loans had been issued under the Enterprise Sri Lanka loan scheme. The government has allocated 5,250 million rupees to pay the interest for these loans. The University of Sri Jayawardenepura is set to celebrate 60 years of shouldering the progress of the nation through education excellence with a grand innovation and invention exhibition titled Innovate Sri Lanka 2019. Innovate Sri Lanka 2019 is set to be inaugurated by President Maithripala Sirisena and Dr. Bandula Vijay on the 2nd of April at the Sirimao Bandaranaike exhibition premises at the BMICH and will be open for public, school and university students, innovators, investors and industry experts on the 2nd and 3rd of April from 8:30 a.m. till 9 p.m. Innovate Sri Lanka 2019 will feature over 100 award-winning innovations and inventions from the university's medical sciences, engineering, technological sciences, commerce and management, social sciences and humanities faculties. The exhibition will also feature over 100 innovations and inventions by parties outside the university such as school students, independent inventors, private and state organizations covering a variety of special interest areas. It's time for another short commercial break. The Stock Watch is coming up after this. Welcome back. Trading at the Colombo Stock Exchange ended on a mixed note today. The all share price index gained 10.53 points to close at 5,567.77 points, and the S&P SL dropped 22.24 points to close at 2,716.71. Turnover was 458.6 million rupees and 6.6 million shares were traded. Now let's take a look at today's foreign exchange rates. And that's all the news we have for you today. Do join us tomorrow for more of the very latest on State of Business. Until then, take care. Good night.